So say, okay, we're not virgins, we're not traditional, we're more modern, I guess, and what we're expecting and what we desire, right? So that means that, are we just maybe, or how do both people, how should the woman then change if she's not traditional, but if she wants something traditional? How should the woman change, and what should she do? And also, how is the man still going to like accept her, and is she just kind of used goods as if she's not a virgin anymore? Is there still hope that she can, like?
I can answer the question. It's a good question.
Okay.
So let me steelman it first to make sure I got it correct, and then if I got it correct, I'll go ahead and answer it. So your question is, well, I don't understand though, if we've broken all the virtue and this and that, but we want to go back, right? We want to in some way do this differently this time. What are the things that we can do to do that? Is that essentially what the question is? Or are these women just broken and busted and no longer worthy of anything? Is that what you're asking?
Of course. I should do my part as he should do his part. So how should I do my part then?
Yeah, well, one thing that goes a long way for men is submission.
Okay.
So the idea of traditionalism, right, or the idea of if you generally want a man of high virtue, he's going to expect submission. That's going to be at least one thing he's going to expect. However, if you want a low virtue man, they often don't give a shit. So it's kind of up to you.
But no. So submission, okay, I understand and all of that, but there is a clear thing of no one's better than the other, right? We're both loyal to each other, we both love each other, and we both are, I guess, in a way, a team so that we can create a healthy living environment for our children.
That's the opposite of submission. So the idea of virtues between men and women are very different. The idea for masculine virtues, for instance, are going to be things like bravery. They're going to be things like what could be perceived as what she was talking about with chivalry, where you're the protector, you're the guider. There's all sorts of different virtues that you can associate with masculinity. Feminine virtues are things like chastity, right? Gracefulness, empathy. These are various forms, right? But not leadership. That's not a feminine virtue. It's a masculine virtue. It's a male-sided virtue. So the thing is that, of course, virtuous men expect that from women. They expect them to fall into their feminine roles as virtuous women.
I feel
otherwise they just simply don't think that you have virtue. They consider you vexing or willful or things like this.
Go ahead.
So are you kind of saying that men, like, are you really talking through and through traditional in a sense of a household where men go to work and the woman stays at home? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, women have always worked.
Well, I'm talking about a traditional household, like you're referring to with submission. Like, is that what you're referring to?
What you're asking, trying to answer the question.
Because I feel like my question is, I feel like now, like you say men want submission, but I also feel like to a certain extent they really don't. Like, they'll make fun of you if you don't have a job. They'll make fun of you if you're not like contributing. So it's like they want everything. They want you to make money, but like less money than them.
You think that a contribution or minor contributions to the household or working towards some shared interest or goal or something like this has anything to do with virtue, because it doesn't. The idea that, okay, you're in a two-income economy or something like that, so it requires two incomes, doesn't have any bearing whatsoever on the nature of your virtuousness. None. Not for men and not for women. So yeah, there could be an expectation that women at times contribute to the household, or perhaps the entire time they contribute to the household because there's no other way around it. So what? How does that affect a man's virtue or a woman's? I don't even understand that.
Well, you're talking about submission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, submission. Yeah.
So give me so she's submitting to a man, yet she makes significantly more money than him. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
It's not transactional. Virtue can't be bought. You can't be like, oh, well, the thing is, I make just as much money as you, so I don't have to be fucking virtuous. That makes no sense.
I have a question. So, what constitutes as a leader? Because are you saying that women can't be leaders?
Well, yeah, they can be leaders to some extent, some regard, sure. But they're never going to lead societies ever.
Why do you feel that way?
Because it's force doctrine. So essentially, it just operates this way. When it comes to power dynamics, men are always going to have an advantage over force. And since they have an advantage over force, women will always have to appeal to men for protection and rights, and men will never have to appeal to women for that.
So if let's say this, women are typically better at multitasking, and men are typically stronger. I just want to make a point.
True. That's true.
I want to.
I'll just grant it.
I could be wrong. I want to hear your take on this, because I honestly think you're a very good debater, and I wanted just to tickle your brain on this. So I would say women are pretty good at multitasking. They can handle a lot of things at once, and I'd say men can definitely have more force and more strength over women. But I feel like, wouldn't it be better to run the world off of a computer than a hammer?
Well, who's going to make the computer and who's going to make the hammer?
I feel like they have to kind of go together. If you're only the hammer, you're going to be a caveman. If you're only a computer, you're not going to have, I don't know.
Well, who's going to make the computer, though? And who's going to maintain the computer systems? And who's going to write all the software for them? Well, by the way,
then there's the thing that we need each other.
Let's assume for a second it's all women who do that. Mm-hmm. And men just decide one day, fuck them, we're going to go take their computers. What can women do about that?
I mean, women build computers too. But what I'm saying is society goes better as symbiotic.
I'm granting your argument. I'm saying, let's just assume women built all the computers. All of them. Every one of them in existence. And men one day collectively went, fuck, I want all their computers. We want all their computers. And they just went and, took them. What could women do about that?
But I'm not saying computer as an object. I'm saying women are smart and they're great at multitasking. They are the computer of society. And then you have men, they are the hammer, they are the boot, right? They are the enforcer of society. You can't just put one of them in the corner. You can get so much more.
Wait, are you talking about IQ?
No, not just IQ.
I understand what she's saying. What she's saying here is, if women are better multitaskers, right, they can do various tasks in a more efficient way. Mm-hmm. And so women act in society as like a central task allocating computation machine. Then shouldn't you give that task to women because they're better at it, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, for the betterment of society. Like, because women can be leaders. I feel like a computer, something that's multitasking, something that could tell people what to do, where to do it, that they can still be a leader in.
I mean, that's what they do right now. Hang on.
Sorry,
I'm granting your argument. I just gave it back to you, so I'll just respond to it. Mm-hmm. That's literally what women do right now. They're in the charges and jobs that they have are designed specifically around this. They're school teachers. They're in the service industry. They do all this type of shit. But whether or not you're a great task manager, whatever that means, or you're in some way great at logistics or something like this. Who cares? You're not going to go up on the top of the mountains in order to fix power lines. You're not going to be doing oil rig work. You're not going to be doing any of the type of work which keeps society running, and you don't have the force necessary, the requisite compositional force necessary to make men do what you want through anything other than subtle manipulation. So if men ever decide at any time to exercise force doctrine, women can't do anything about it. Now, if you want examples of that, I give you every Muslim nation on planet Earth right now.
No, I understand that, but I would also tell you that the majority of countries that are led by women are the happiest in the world.
The Nordic nations? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not true. So this metric comes from the United Nations, right? And the UN polls on the metrics for happiness are actually quite silly. And I could actually, if you ever wanted to, I could go through them with you so that you understood this. But you can go through them line item by line item, and they're quite silly. If you look at depression rates in Nordic nations, it actually makes sense why so many people there are depressed, because it's always snowy and cold and dark and drab. So they go off of other metrics like, they make more money per capita. They do this per capita, but not actually off of mental illness, depression rates, things like this. They go off of completely different metrics than you or I would use to determine happiness.
Yeah, but I also say that their countries. Go ahead, Brian. I apologize.
I got to bring it back here.
Yeah,
otherwise, we're going to be here till 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so I understand. Go ahead.
I guess to kind of put a cap on the whole submission conversation, I'm just a little bit confused, especially with you, because you have like significant and detailed criticisms about men's conduct when it comes to courtship. Like you're like, we need to move back towards men courting women. In your pre-show notes and everything that you've said tonight, you said men wanting to receive, men not needing to put in the work. What is this work that you purport it is that men need to put in? You said they like picking a girl up, paying on the first date, not putting in effort, leading, this sort of thing. I'm confused here. On one hand, you're holding men to this pretty rigid traditional gender role. On the one hand, you want to completely forgive, I guess, any sort of expectations or relinquish any sort of expectations that ought to be placed on women when it comes to them being traditional. Another way of saying this would be submissive.
Submissive has like a lot of really bad connotations in my opinion.
It doesn't. Maybe like because you listen to a bunch of feminist propaganda, but what are the bad connotations? What
said in my opinion.
What are the bad connotations?
But I'm not, I mean, obviously I feel stupid just sitting here and being like, yeah, I'll be submissive to my, like that makes me feel like that sounds stupid.
Wait, so what sounds stupid? You saying, oh yeah, I'd be submissive to my boyfriend, husband?
I mean, I feel like I would to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, okay, I guess like,
So
okay, yeah, but I feel like that sounds silly to say. Like that sounds like bad.
Do you think it'd be bad for me to say I want to be a leader and be a protector and a provider? Because if the sort of like corresponding gender roles here, man, protect and provide, woman, be submissive, why is it weird for the woman to just say that she's submissive? Like, why is that
I feel
weird?
like it sounds weird.
I
mean, I would be, but I just feel like it sounds fucking weird.
You think men don't want submissive women? They want like contentious and like quarrelsome women? You think that's what men want?
I mean, some guys do. I guess the guys that can I finish? The guy that I would marry I would probably be like more submissive. Yeah, because he'd probably be like the opposite side of that. And that's probably who I'd end up marrying.
You're currently in a relationship right now with a good guy.
Yeah.
Would you be submissive to him?
Yeah.
Are you submissive to him?
Yeah.
What's the definition of submissive?
Why? I don't know why that's crazy.
Well, it just
that doesn't sound crazy. He's your man. You should be submissive. You are.
So then, yeah.
But I do want to know what's the definition of submissive. I should have looked that up, but I actually don't know the exact definition.
I mean, my interpretation would be like deferring to his authority or leadership.
Okay.
So it's like,
well, we're not children. I think that like to a certain extent, yes. Like, yes, the man leads, we follow, sure. But I think to a certain extent, yeah, like just fully submit to somebody is a little bit crazy. We are both adults. We are equal.
I feel like that leaves room for them to hold it over your head. That's like the scary part.
If we're both equal, then we should equally contribute on a first date then, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you're totally fine with splitting the bill?
Yep.
Okay, even like these women here, they should also split the bill?
Yeah.
Because they're equal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So why aren't you having criticisms for these women who have
guys,
unequal...
split the bill.
But I guess on this, it's just, I guess kind of my conflict here is you kind of want your cake and to eat it too. Like, on one hand, you want to push your liberal, feminist, progressive equality values. You mentioned equality or equal. As far as humanly possible, sex work is fine. Men are insecure for not wanting to date a woman who has, let me make my argument. A man's insecure for not wanting to date a woman who has other men blasting inside of them, no modesty when it comes to their appearance, no modesty in their conduct. You want to sleep with a bunch of men and be promiscuous. You want to be like quarrelsome in relationships and like argumentative and like combative. You don't want to be submissive. On the other hand, when it comes to your sexist and gendered expectations of men, you may as well be 1950s bachelorettes. You want men to be chivalrous, providers, protectors, leaders, take all the initiative, pay for dates, open car doors, get you flowers, get down on one knee, propose to you, etc., etc., etc. It's interesting. You want to pick and choose when it comes to tradition. You want to pick and choose. You get to keep all the traditional things that benefit you without upholding any of the traditional benefits that could conceivably come at your detriment.
Well, we could say the same thing. You want a virgin, yet you're begging to sleep with us on the first date. So... I think it's very like person to person, I don't care about this argument because like I know like it just I don't align with this, and that's cool. But like I'm just saying, like yes,
what do
you
hear?
want a virgin, yet you are begging to sleep with us on the first date.
So I'll just actually address that really quick. What do you think is more common, men refusing to date women because they're not virgins, or women refusing to date men because they won't pay for the bill? What's more common?
I have no idea the statistics on that. I don't care. I don't literally give a shit, to be honest.
Yeah, so I would
I
say,
don't give a shit about. I don't